They warned me about her deadly touch, but I turned her into my lover. The shuttle rattled as it plunged through the stormy skies of Vorin, a planet no human had ever left alive. Inside, the air was thick with the smell of oil, fear, and the faint buzz of nervous chatter. Liam Carter, a soldier with more scars than years, tightened the straps on his gear. His dark eyes flicked to the blaster at his side, then to the small glowing device clipped to his belt, a prototype shield his team's engineer had called a last hope. Around him, his squad shifted uneasily. They all knew the rumors. Vorin was home to Death's Whisper, a force that killed with a single touch. No one came back from this mission. "Carter, you ready to die?" grunted Commander Holt, his voice rough over the roar of the engines. Liam smirked, hiding the knot in his stomach. "Not today, sir. I've got a streak to keep." Holt didn't laugh. He never did. The shuttle jolted and red lights flared as the pilot shouted, "Brace for impact." The hull screamed as it tore through Vorin's jagged atmosphere, a mess of black clouds and electric streaks. Then came the crash, a bone-rattling thud that flung Liam against his harness. Metal groaned, sparks flew, and the cabin filled with smoke. When the dust settled, Liam unbuckled himself and stumbled to his feet. The others weren't so lucky. Bodies lay still, their faces frozen in shock. He checked pulses, but there was nothing. A chill crept up his spine as a faint hum filled the air, not from the wreckage, but from outside. He grabbed his blaster and stepped toward the cracked hatch. The shield on his belt pulsed faintly, like it knew something he didn't. With a deep breath, he pushed the hatch open. Vorin greeted him with a blast of icy wind and a landscape of sharp rocks and glowing mist. The ground crunched under his boots as he scanned the horizon. Then he saw it, a flicker of movement, fast and silent. Before he could aim, a wave of energy hit him, knocking the blaster from his hands. He braced for death, but instead, the shield flared to life, a blue glow wrapping around him. The air shimmered, and she appeared, a tall, slender figure with skin like liquid starlight and eyes that burned with cold fire. Death's Whisper. She moved closer, her presence heavy, like gravity itself was bending. Liam's heart raced, but he didn't back down. "So you're the one they're scared of," he said, voice steady despite the odds. She tilted her head, curious, and reached out. Her fingers brushed his arm. And the shield sparked. Pain shot through him, then something else. A rush of strength, like his blood was suddenly alive with lightning. She pulled back, her eyes widening. Liam flexed his hand, stunned. He wasn't dead. He was stronger. The alien circled him, her movements fluid, almost hypnotic. She didn't speak, but her gaze said enough. She didn't understand him either. Liam's mind raced. The shield had blocked her touch, or changed it. He didn't know how, but he knew one thing. He wasn't dying today. "Guess I'm not like the others," he said, grinning despite himself. She stopped, staring, and for the first time, Liam felt like the hunter, not the prey. The game had just begun. Liam stood on the rocky ground of Vorin, his breath fogging in the cold air as the alien, Death's Whisper, watched him with those burning eyes. The shield on his belt still hummed, a faint blue glow pulsing like a heartbeat. His arm tingled where she'd touched him, not with pain but with a strange, wild energy that made his muscles feel tighter, stronger. She hadn't killed him. She'd made him better. And that confused her as much as it did him. She stepped closer, her movements smooth and silent, like a shadow given form. Up close, Liam could see her better. Her skin shimmered like a night sky, and her long hair floated as if caught in an invisible breeze. She wasn't a monster. She was something else, something alive and lonely. "Why don't you die?" she asked, her voice soft but sharp, cutting through the silence. It was the first time she'd spoken, and it hit Liam like a jolt. He shrugged, forcing a grin. "Guess I'm too stubborn." She didn't smile back, but her eyes narrowed, studying him. Liam held her gaze, refusing to flinch. "What's your name?" he asked, taking a risk. She hesitated, then said, "Kalia." Simple, but it carried weight, like a secret she hadn't shared in years. "I'm Liam," he replied, keeping his tone light. "Nice to meet you, Kalia. Even if you did try to kill me." Kalia tilted her head, puzzled. "You are not afraid." It wasn't a question, but Liam answered anyway. "Not anymore. You're not what they said you were." She frowned, and he pressed on. "They call you Death's Whisper. Say you kill everything you touch. But I'm still here. Why?" Kalia looked at her own hand, flexing her fingers as if testing them. "I don't know," she admitted, and for a moment she seemed almost human. That's when Liam noticed it, the way her shoulders slumped slightly, the flicker of doubt in her eyes. She wasn't just a killer. She was alone. "How long have you been here?" he asked. Kalia's gaze drifted to the misty horizon. "Too long. My kind. We are few now. I am the last on Vorin." Liam's chest tightened. He knew what it was like to lose everything. His squad was gone, his homeworld a distant memory. "That's rough," he said quietly. "Being the last." Kalia's eyes snapped back to him, sharp and searching. "You feel it too," she said. "Loss." Liam nodded, surprised she picked up on it. "Yeah, war does that. Takes everything and leaves you standing in the wreckage." For a moment, they just looked at each other, two survivors on a dead planet, connected by something neither could name. Then Kalia lunged. Instinct kicked in, and Liam dodged, rolling to the side as her hand grazed his shoulder. The shield flared again, and that same rush of strength flooded him. He sprang up, grabbing her wrist before she could pull back. She froze, her eyes wide. Where their skin met, energy crackled, not draining him, but flowing between them. "Stop," he barked, holding tight. "This doesn't have to be a fight." Kalia yanked free, stepping back, but she didn't attack again. She stared at him, breathing hard. "What if we don't have to be enemies?" Liam said, his mind racing. "You're strong. I'm still alive. Maybe there's a reason for that." Kalia's expression shifted, curiosity replacing anger. "What reason?" she asked. Liam took a chance. "Your people are dying. Mine wants something from this planet. Crystals, energy, whatever's down there. What if we help each other?" She didn't respond, but she didn't walk away either. Liam pressed on, his voice steady. "I don't know what's happening between us, but your touch doesn't kill me. It makes me stronger. Maybe I can help you, and you can help me." Kalia studied him, her gaze piercing. "You are bold, human," she said finally. "Or foolish." Liam chuckled. "Probably both. But I'm still here, aren't I?" For the first time, Kalia's lips twitched, almost a smile. She turned, gesturing toward the jagged cliffs in the distance. "Follow me," she said. Liam hesitated, then nodded. Whatever this was, it was a start. As they walked, the shield pulsed faintly, and Liam felt that strange energy humming inside him. Kalia glanced back, her eyes catching his. "You are not like the others," she said. Liam grinned. "Good. I'd hate to be boring." The truce was fragile, but it was real. And for the first time, Liam felt hope. Liam followed Kalia through the jagged cliffs of Vorin, the air growing colder as they descended into a maze of glowing caves. The walls shimmered with veins of bright blue crystals, pulsing like they were alive. His shield hummed louder here, matching the rhythm of the energy in the air. Kalia moved ahead, her starlight skin reflecting the glow, making her look like part of this strange world. Liam's boots crunched on the rocky floor, his mind buzzing with questions. He'd survived her touch, turned a fight into a truce, but now what? Trusting an alien who'd killed his squad wasn't exactly in the soldier's handbook. Kalia stopped at the edge of a wide cavern, where the crystals grew thick and bright. She turned to him, her eyes steady. "This is what your people want," she said, gesturing to the shimmering rocks. Energy. Power. Liam nodded, stepping closer. Yeah. They call it Vorin crystal. Rare stuff. Keeps ships running. Weapons firing. My commanders would do anything to get it. Kalia's gaze darkened. They have tried. They all died. Liam swallowed, the weight of her words sinking in. But I didn't, he said. And maybe that's our way out of this mess. Kalia crossed her arms, skeptical. You think your kind will listen? Liam shrugged. If I bring them crystals and a deal instead of a body count, they might. She didn't reply, but her silence felt like an invitation to keep talking. Here's my idea, Liam said, pacing as his thoughts came together. You let us mine the crystals. In return, we protect Vorin. Keep it yours. No invasions, no bombs. And, he hesitated, meeting her eyes. I help you. Your people are dying out. Maybe there's a way to stop that. Kalia's expression shifted, surprise, then something softer. You would do this? She asked. Liam nodded. If it means no more fighting, yeah. I'm tired of losing people. Kalia stepped closer, her voice low. My kind, we are born with this power. It takes life, keeps us strong. But it isolates us. I cannot touch without killing, except you. Liam felt a chill, but he didn't back away. Then we figure it out together. Why I'm different, how it works. Maybe it's a start. Kalia studied him, then nodded slowly. A pact, she said. Your people get their crystals. I get hope. Liam grinned. Deal. But it wasn't that simple. He pulled out his comm device, a scratched-up piece of tech that barely worked after the crash. I need to call my commander. Let him know we're not dead or at war. Kalia watched as he tapped the controls, static crackling before a voice broke through. Carter, you alive? It was Commander Holt, sounding shocked. Yeah, sir, Liam replied. And I've got news. He explained fast. The crystals, the truce, Kalia. Holt laughed. A rough, disbelieving sound. You're telling me you tamed Death's whisper? Liam glanced at Kalia, who raised an eyebrow. Not tamed, sir. Partnered. Holt went quiet, then said, If you pull this off, Carter, you're a damned legend. Bring me proof. The line cut out. Liam exhaled, pocketing the comm. He's in. Sort of. Kalia tilted her head. He does not trust me. Liam chuckled. He doesn't trust anyone, but he'll come around when he sees the crystals. She nodded, but her eyes lingered on him. And you? Do you trust me? Liam met her gaze, feeling that strange energy hum between them. Enough to try this, he said. That's all we've got right now. They spent the next hours gathering crystals, Liam using his soldier's strength to pry them free, while Kalia guided him to the richest veins. As they worked, she spoke, quietly at first, then more. I was not always alone, she said, her voice echoing in the cave. My family hunted here. We were many once. Liam paused, wiping sweat from his brow. What happened? Kalia's eyes dimmed. A sickness. It took our strength, left us weak. I survived because I was stronger, but alone. Liam set down a crystal, his chest tight. I get it. I lost people too. War, mostly. Friends, squadmates. You keep going because you have to. Kalia looked at him, a flicker of understanding passing between them. You fight for others, she said. I fight for myself. Liam shook his head. Not anymore. We're in this together now. She didn't reply, but when their hands brushed while passing a crystal, the energy flared again, stronger, warmer. Liam felt it deep in his bones, like a connection he couldn't explain. Kalia pulled back, startled, but didn't retreat. What are you, Liam? She asked, almost to herself. He grinned. Just a guy who doesn't give up. What about you? She didn't answer, but her eyes softened. The pact was holding, fragile but real. And as they stacked the crystals, Liam knew this was just the beginning. The cave hummed with the glow of Vorin crystals as Liam and Kalia finished stacking their haul. The air between them crackled, not just from the crystals, but from something unspoken, a bond forged in survival and trust. Liam wiped his hands on his torn uniform, feeling the strange energy still buzzing in his veins. Kalia stood nearby, her starlight skin catching the light, her eyes fixed on him with a mix of curiosity and resolve. They'd made a deal, but now it was time to test it. And trouble, Liam knew, was never far off on a planet like this. A low rumble shook the ground, dust falling from the cave ceiling. Liam tensed, grabbing his blaster. "That's not good," he muttered. Kalia's head snapped toward the entrance, her body coiled like a predator ready to strike. "We are not alone," she said, her voice sharp. Before Liam could ask, a shadow moved outside, then another. Harsh, guttural sounds echoed, followed by the glint of metal. Aliens, but not like Kalia. These were bulky, armored figures with jagged blades and glowing red eyes. A rival faction. "They're after the crystals," Kalia hissed, stepping forward. "My kind drove them out long ago. They've returned." Liam cursed under his breath. "Great, just when I thought we'd get a break." The invaders stormed in, their leader, a hulking figure with scars crisscrossing its face, barking orders in a language Liam didn't understand. But he didn't need to. The intent was clear. Take everything. Leave nothing. Liam raised his blaster and fired, the shot hitting one of the aliens square in the chest. It staggered but didn't fall. Tough bastards. Kalia moved faster, a blur of light and fury, her touch dropping two of them instantly. Their bodies hit the ground, lifeless, their energy siphoned away. But there were too many. A blade swung at Liam, and he ducked, rolling to the side. His shield flared as another struck, the impact jarring his bones. He gritted his teeth. "We can't hold them like this." Kalia glanced at him, her eyes fierce. "Then we fight together." She grabbed his arm, and the energy surged again, stronger than ever. It wasn't just a boost this time. It was a flood, like their strengths were merging. Liam's muscles tightened, his senses sharpened. He felt her power flowing through him, wild and unstoppable. "Whoa," he breathed, flexing his hand. "Let's use this." They moved as one. Liam charged, slamming his fist into an alien's chest with force he didn't know he had. The armor cracked, and the creature crumpled. Kalia spun beside him, her touch lethal to their foes but fueling Liam with every connection. Together, they were a storm, his human grit and her alien grace tearing through the invaders. The leader roared, lunging at Kalia with a massive blade. Liam intercepted, grabbing its arm and twisting until it snapped. Kalia finished it with a single touch, and the cavern fell silent. Breathing hard, Liam wiped blood from his lip and grinned at her. "Not bad for a team, huh?" Kalia's chest heaved, but her lips curved slightly. "You are unexpected," she said. They stood amid the wreckage, the crystals still glowing behind them. The threat was gone. For now. But Liam knew his commanders would want answers. He pulled out his comm, the signal weak but enough. "Holt, you there?" "Carter." Holt's voice crackled through. "What the hell's happening?" Liam glanced at Kalia. "We've got the crystals." And a fight. Rival aliens showed up, but we handled it. "Deal's still on." Holt laughed, rough and relieved. "You're insane, kid. Bring those crystals back, and we'll talk." The line cut out. Liam pocketed the comm, turning to Kalia. "They're coming. We've got a shot at this." Kalia nodded, but her eyes lingered on him. "You fought for me," she said, almost surprised. Liam shrugged. "You fought for me too. That's how this works now." She stepped closer, her hand brushing his. The energy flared again, warm and steady. "What happens next?" she asked. Liam met her gaze, feeling the weight of the moment. "We keep going. Your people, mine. We make it work. Together. She didn't pull away. Instead, she leaned in, her lips meeting his. It wasn't soft or gentle. It was fire, raw and alive, like the energy they shared. Liam kissed her back, his hands finding her waist, the connection deepening. When they parted, he laughed, breathless. Guess I'm not just your ally anymore. Kalia's eyes sparkled. No, you are more. They gathered the crystals and stepped out into Voron's stormy night, side by side. The future was uncertain. Human fleets, alien threats, a bond no one could predict. But Liam felt ready. With Kalia, he wasn't just surviving. He was thriving. And as the wind howled around them, he knew this was only the start of something bigger, something unstoppable. Humanity and Voron, united in a way no one could have imagined.